Hello and welcome to my new video on research assistantship versus teaching assistantship. Actually, when you want to study in United States, you need to have a funding from universities that will cover your tuition fees and also give you stipend. So there are two ways to get this funding. One is through a research assistantship, another one is through a teaching assistantship. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the difference between research assistantship and teaching assistantship, and the responsibilities that they have here, and also how to get yourself to become a research assistantship or teaching assistantship. And also, I'm going to talk about how much good CGPA, GRE, and IELTS score matters to get yourself to become a research assistantship or teaching assistantship. So I'm Nafiz. I'm from Auburn University, Department of Geosciences, and welcome to my video. So let's get started. So first of all, the responsibilities of graduate teaching assistants. So as you may already know that the teaching assistantship fund is for 9 months. So you will have 9 months of duty in United States if you come as a teaching assistant. And it's 20 hours per week. You need to take labs and classes for undergraduate students. This is the main responsibilities that the teaching assistants have here in United States. So most of the time, most of the classes, you need to interact with undergrads. You need to handle the undergrads and you need to lecture them for some times. That can also be your responsibilities. But it varies across universities and department what the professor want to have your responsibilities too. That also matters. So it varies across universities. And some universities you need to do the marking too for the exams, and also proctoring the exams is a major responsibilities for TS, and also assisting the professors in the class when the professor is taking the class. Sometimes you need to attend there and you need to assist him or her with anything that is relevant in the class. So, talk about responsibilities of graduate research assistants. It's a 12 months duty. Unlike teaching assistants, you will have a 12 months funding most of the time. For research assistants, you will get 12 months funding. And also, it's the same 20 hours per week to work for you. And also, the main responsibilities are doing research work with the professor, and you need to go to the field to do survey if necessary. And writing manuscript is a big part to become a research assistant, and also publications. If you need to do the publication works if you are a research assistant, and also attending and presenting in conferences is also a major responsibilities for research assistant. So let's talk about the advantages of becoming a research assistant or a teaching assistant. So the main advantages of research assistant is knowing more about research. You will be involved in research work more or less every time. In your duty time, you need to work on a research project that you are working on with your professor, and you will have a lot of opportunities to communicate with researchers outside of your university, because most of the professors, they work with different professors in different universities. So you will have the chance to interact with them. And it's a 12 months fund, so which is really great. Unlike TA, it's a 12-month fund. So if you are RA, you don't have to worry about the 3 months of summer that the TAs need to apply for research assistantship. So that's one of the major advantages of becoming a research assistant. And also, there is low chance of having deficit in the fund. I am going to talk about deficit and surplus later in this video. And also, you will have some publications throughout your courses, because you will always work with manuscripts with your supervisors. So it is highly likely that you will have some publications, and also flexible duty time. So if your professor is not that rigid, or he or she doesn't have any labs, formal labs, then you'll have your own time to do your work. You can work in the night, or you can do any time. So, which is a major advantages of research assistant. And for teaching assistant, one of the major advantages is the communication skill. You will develop a lot of communication skill, because you always need to interact with bachelor students. Most of them are American. So your English speaking skill will develop highly. And also you will develop teaching skills, which is really great if you are focusing on becoming a faculty or lecturer in the future. And then it is really important to have this skill. You can also add it to your CV when you're applying for lecturer position, or assistant professor position. And also you will understand the education system better. In For research assistants, there is no chance to understand these things or develop skills or speaking with the undergrads. And also you will have a lot of experience teaching in United States, which will be a great asset if you become a faculty in the future. So let's talk about the disadvantages of research assistantship and teaching assistantship. So for research assistants, there are a lack of communication skills. You don't talk too much with undergrads or Americans. You just talk with your professors and researchers. Most of the time, you communicate with them in mails or having short meetings or something like that. So there is no speaking skills needed here most of the time. So you won't develop any kind of speaking skills most of the time in research assistantship. And also there are lack of engagement with local people and students. So if you are a TA, then you have students, undergrad students from local places. So you'll know many local students or American students there. But for RA, you don't need to interact with undergrads, so you will have a lack of engagement with social activities there. And also, it's a 12 months duty, so you'll always need to work with your professor, and your professor can ask you for anything, any kind of work that he or she needed. You need to complete it in any time in 12 months. So, which is one of the disadvantages of research assistantship. And for teaching assistantship, it's a 9 months fund. It's kind of a disadvantages for students, those who need to use their stipend to support their family in home country, because in the 3 months of summer there is no TA ships. Most of the university doesn't have TA ships in the summer. So then you need to search for research assistantship or internship opportunities in your university, which is kind of a hassle, which is not involved in research assistantship. And there's also possibility of having deficit in your I-20, because it's a 9 months fund, it's not 12 months fund. So sometimes you will have deficit if you are a teaching assistant. You have funding from teaching assistantship. So, and also the duty is rigid, so you need to go to the class when the class is scheduled. There is no flexibility in your duty time. And also there are lack of research work and publications. You only have the opportunity to do your thesis when you are a teaching assistant. So that's all about research when you are a teaching assistant. There is no way to engage in more research work, because you need to do your teaching assistantship duty. That's your major priority as a teaching assistant. So let's understand what is surplus and deficit. So many new undergrad students, those who are trying to apply to United States, doesn't understand surplus or deficit, what surplus and deficit mean, and what is bank statement, when you need to show bank statement. So this part is showing that. So when you get or accepted or get funded from a university, they'll send you a I-20 form. In the I-20 form, you'll find a section called financials. And in the financial sections, you will have the estimated average cost and also the students funding for. So the estimated average cost is the estimated cost from university that a total cost to live in that university. It includes the living expenses, the tuition and fees, and everything, even the health insurance too. So as you can see from the first financial section, it's a surplus financial section. So you can see that the total estimated average cost for 12 months is 62,000 something. But the student fund for 12 months is 72,000 something. So it's a 10,000 surplus funding. So this funding means that you don't need to show any kind of bank statement here, because you have already got a fund that is more than enough to live for a year in that university. So that is called surplus. And for deficit, when your funding is less than the estimated cost, you will have a deficit in your I-20. As you can see in the second financial section, this is a deficit I-20, where it's a TA sheet, so it's 9 months. The first one was a research assistantship, so it was 12 months. But for this one, this is a teaching assistantship, so that's why it's 9 months. And if the total estimated cost is 24,000, but the graduate assistantship and tuition school is, fund is 23,000, so there's kind of $876 deficit in that I-20. So you need to show in the bank statement this amount, this $867 amount that you have. You need to show them that yes, I have this amount and I can bear it when I will come to United States. So that's the difference between surplus and deficit. So let's talk about road to become a teaching assistant. So for becoming teaching assistants, you need to apply centrally. As you may know that if you apply centrally, you'll automatically considered for a teaching assistant fund, and you need to have a good IELTS score. Overall 7 to 8 is good, and you need to be specifically have a good speaking score, because you'll always need to interact with undergraduate students and need to talk with them, need to give a lecture in the class. So you'll definitely need a good speaking skill. And for you need to have a good GRE scores too, because sometimes you need to take some basic courses here for undergrad students, like maths or something like that. So if you get a good GRE scores, it gives you a good impression that you know basics on math, so that you can do your teaching assistantship good here. And sending professor email is a plus, because if you want to know how United States faculties or department take or select teaching assistant, it's like there is a voting system. So all the faculties vote for the students they think are best suitable for teaching assistant. So if you email to professor there and the professor has a good impression on you, then there is a chance that he or she will vote for you. So it will be a plus point for you to convince him before, or to interact with him, him or her before, so that you can get the vote from that professor. And also having a good CGPA is a plus point. So when you are you have a good CGPA, so the the graduate committee will think that you are good at, like, understanding the basics and understanding the undergrad courses better than other students. So it's a plus point to have a good CGPA when you want to become a teaching assistant. And so after that, it's a road to become a research assistant. So as you may know, you need to apply centrally for research assistantship, but first you need to send professor emails. So you need to search for professors in the university website, and you need to search for it, and you need to identify which professors have research interest aligned with you. And sometimes professors post their research assistantship position, available research assistantship position, in different websites like LinkedIn, or there are many other, like ResearchGate, or any other websites that are available. So you will find these positions, and you need to apply to the professor directly. And you need to have 2 or 3 publications for that, because most of the time when you are a research assistant, you do publications, mainly do research work. So having 2 or 3 publications is a really plus point when you are applying for a research assistant post, or try to become a research assistant. And IELTS minimum 6.5 is a plus, but it's all up to professor, what the professor wants, because IELTS score actually doesn't matter when it's about research. Uh, you don't need to speak that much, so you need to just work and have research publications. Most of the time, professors want that, and prioritize research experience than IELTS or GRE score. So GRE score is not mandatory when you want to become a research assistant. So, and also CGPA is not that focused. Professors don't care much about CGPA when you have publications, and they are thinking to take you as a research assistant. You don't actually need to worry about scores that much. If you have a publications, 2 or 3 publications or something like that, or the research interest aligns with your professor. But it's really difficult and kind of lucky to get a research assistantship in United States when you are a master's student, because most of the time the PhD students do research assistantship. Most of the rigorous research are done by PhD students, and also many professors want their research assistant to be PhD. So it's really hard. It's kind of like 10% or 8% student in United States come as a research assistant in master's program. So it's really hard and difficult to find research assistantship, and kind of lucky, because when you're applying, there may be no research assistantship opportunities there. So that's all for today. I think I covered most of the things about research assistantship or teaching assistantship. So if you think I have missed something, just comment in this video, and I'll try to cover it in the next video. And if this video helps you, then like and subscribe, and share your thoughts about the video in the comment. Thank you very much for watching.